Right. So we're going deep today
Mhm.
into something that's like always there, but you don't really think about it. It's kind of like the behind the scenes stuff that determines, the price tags you see everywhere, especially when you're buying a lot of something or if something weighs a ton. We're talking about managing price scales, right?
Mm.
Specifically within SAP for sales orders and how the prices get set.
Yeah, you got it. So the goal here is to understand uh, how those price scales, how they can like automatically change the prices you see on your sales orders. So like if you're ordering one thing, the price is this, but if you order 100, boom, different price. Same thing with weight, light package versus a really heavy one. The system knows and it adjusts things for you. Pretty cool when you think about it.
It's wild. So like
Yeah.
starting from scratch, how do we even make one of these price scales?
Right, so you got to start with transaction code VS01. That's where you go to make a new scale. And the first thing you've got to pick is the scale basis. The examples you sent me use D for gross weight, but it could be all sorts of things,
Right.
quantity, volume, whatever makes sense for your business. It's basically like what's going to make the price change, right?
Gotcha. So that's the what. But then there's those scale type options, A, B, and X. What are those all about?
Right, those are like how you set the ranges or the exact points where you want to have different prices kick in. So A, that's from, means the price applies starting at a certain point. Like, maybe you give a discount if somebody orders like from 100 units. Then B, which is 2, sets an upper limit. So maybe a special price is good up to 50 kilos, something like that. And then X equal 2, that's for a super specific price. Like if the order is exactly 500 items, then this is the price, no more, no less. It lets businesses get real specific with their pricing, based on all these different levels of weight or quantity.
Makes sense. Okay, now what about this rounding rule thing? It seems like it does its thing before the scale even matters.
Exactly. Rounding rule is all about how the system rounds off the order value before it even looks at the price scale, like to keep things consistent. So you got a couple options based on the first two digits. 000, that's rounding to the nearest whole number. Then O1 rounds down and O2 rounds up. So say you're ordering 9.8 units. If your rounding rule is set to 00, it'll round that up to 10 before it even checks the price scale.
Oh, okay, I see. And then there's a scale quantity unit.
Yeah.
That's going to match up with the scale basis we picked earlier, right?
Absolutely. If you pick weight as your basis, then your unit's probably going to be kilograms or pounds.
Mm,
Makes sense, right? Then you hop over to the calculation tab, and that's where the real magic happens, the price calculation stuff.
right, right. Now, there's this thing, the calculation rule. Why is it important to keep its units the same as the scale unit?
Oh, that's a good one. It's all about clarity, and avoiding those nasty little mistakes. You want to be comparing apples to apples when the system's crunching the numbers for the price. Then you got the calculation type. It applies to every single level on your price scale.
Hmm.
A is like a fixed amount, maybe a $10 surcharge if the weight's in a certain range. B is a unit price, so like $2 per item. And then there's C, subsequent, which is for, well, it's more complicated, like tiered calculations and stuff. We won't get into that today, though we'd be here all day.
No worries, no worries. Price basis, what about that one? What's it for?
Price basis is basically saying, like, what does the unit price actually mean in calculation type B? Is it the price for one single item or a dozen or 100 kilograms? It gives some context to that unit price.
Interesting. And manageable minimum and maximum, those sound like pretty important tools.
Oh, they are super important because if you check those boxes, it lets you set some hard limits on your price. So even if the calculation spits out a price that's below your minimum or above your maximum, it'll get overridden. It's like a safety net. And last but not least, don't forget to name your scale before you hit save. You can always see all your saved scales with transaction VN10.
Nice. Okay, so that's how we make one. But what if we need to see or maybe change a price scale that's already there?
All right, so for that, you'll use VS03 to pull up a scale and look at it, and then VS02 if you want to make some changes. You can jump back and forth between them in the menu. It's pretty easy. But but here, got to be super careful when messing around with a scale that's already being used, because anything you change is going to affect all the old sales orders that use that scale, even the
Right.
ones from like way back. Usually it's smarter to just make a brand new scale using VS01 if you need to change things up a lot.
Ah, good to know, good to know. Now, what if you have a scale that's like almost perfect, just needs a tweak here or there? Do you have to start from scratch?
No, there's a shortcut for that. Transaction VS04 creates scale with reference, lets you copy a scale that's already there. You just pop in the number of the scale you want to copy, and boom, all the data is right there. You can edit it however you want, and then save it as a brand new scale. Saves a ton of time.
That's super handy. Well, this has been really helpful, I think. I'm finally getting the hang of these price scales.
Yeah.
So big picture, this system gives you a really powerful way to fine-tune your pricing. It can automatically change things based on weight, quantity, you name it. And you've got all these tools to manage those scales. Pretty neat.
Exactly. And it makes you think, right? Like dynamic pricing like this, driven by all sorts of factors, not just weight and quantity. It could totally change how businesses work. Everything from like online stores to global shipping companies. I mean, what other crazy metrics could we use to trigger price changes? What would that even look like?
Lots to think about, for sure. Thanks for walking us through this.
Anytime.
All right, that's a wrap for today's deep dive. See you next time. Right, so we're going deep today into something that's always there, but you don't really think about it. It's kind of like the behind-the-scenes stuff that determines, the price tags you see everywhere, especially when you're buying a lot of something or if something weighs a ton. We're talking about managing price scales, right? Specifically within SAP for sales orders and how the prices get set.
Yeah, you got it. So the goal here is to understand how those price scales, how they can automatically change the prices you see on your sales orders. So if you're ordering one thing, the price is this, but if you order 100, boom, different price. Same thing with weight, light package versus a really heavy one. The system knows and it adjusts things for you. Pretty cool when you think about it.
It's wild. So
Yeah.
starting from scratch, how do we even make one of these price scales?
Right, so you got to start with transaction code VS01. That's where you go to make a new scale. And the first thing you've got to pick is the scale basis. The examples you sent me use D